So this is a love story where a girl and a boy, they fall into love and they decide to meet, right? So starting with the score of 2. So we will learn about a score of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, 1 is non-response. So we have E, we have V and we have M. Okay, it is E, V, M. Now what do we need to know here is 1 is basically non-response, non-response and non-response. Remember, in the calculation of GCS, we look at the best response. Okay, we look at the best response, best eye response, best verbal response and the best motor response. Now starting with 2. Now number 2 is rhyming with shoe. So imagine that this girl is getting ready to go and meet her boyfriend and she decides to wear high heels ke sandals. Now to get those high heels, imagine like to her shoes, to her sandals, she has put an extension. Okay, the heel that she has, it is like an extension that has been put, and she walks with pressure. Okay, when she's going to meet her guy, she's walking with pressure and that pressure is creating sound. Okay, she's walking with pressure so that the heel creates a lot of sound and she's noticed, right? So remember that. What does that mean? The heel is the extension. So the extension is the motor response. Extension is M2. Then she's walking with pressure. So eye opening to pressure or pain is E2. Then when she's walking with pressure, the heels are creating sound. So this is V2. Just sound is V2. It can also be called as the patient moaning. Moans, matlab it's just the sound. Okay, it is not words. So it is sound. So at the score of 2, basically you can see here 2 is shoe ka extension. Walking with pressure, creating sound, that's an extension. Now at the score of 3, imagine like at the score of 3, the 3 is rhyming with a tree. So where are this guy and girl meeting? They are meeting under the tree. Okay, so they decide to meet under the tree, right? When they meet under the tree, they are having speech. They are talking to each other in a code language, which only they can understand and nobody else, even there's someone who's tried to peep in and hear what they're talking, they will not be able to understand. So basically they are having speech in inappropriate words, that is the code language. And in what position are they sitting under the tree? In abnormal flexion. Okay, they are cuddling up and they are sitting in abnormal flexion. So abnormal flexion is the M3. Abnormal flexion under the tree, that is 3M3. And they are talking in code language, that is inappropriate words. Okay, that is words here is V3. And what is the eye response? They are having speech. Okay, they are talking. So if it is the eye opening to speech, that is verbal command. Okay, you ask the patient to open the eye and the patient is able to open the eye, then it is verbal response, then it is E3. Okay, so that is for the score of 3. So under the tree, abnormal flexion, having speech in inappropriate words, that is what is 3. Now coming to 4. Now 4 is rhyming with more. So at the 4, their love grows more. Okay, so now at 4, their love grows more and they are noticed by the surrounding people, right? So when the surrounding people come there, they get confused and spontaneously they come back to normal position. That means they withdraw from the abnormal flexion that they were sitting in and they come back to normal flexion. So what is the E4 here? It is spontaneously. Okay, spontaneous eye opening, that is the maximum E score, E4, right? That was E4 maximum. And they become confused, okay, because they are spotted by the surrounding people, they get confused and they withdraw. So withdrawal from the abnormal flexion to the normal flexion. So normal flexion withdrawal, it is M4. Okay, so this is what is happening at the score of 4. So E4 spontaneously they withdraw from the abnormal flexion, come to normal flexion and they become confused. Okay, so confused and disoriented is basically V4. Now the maximum for E is 4, so there is no E5 and there is no E6. Now coming to V. Now at the score of 5, 5 is rhyming with wife. So now because they are spotted by everyone, their parents also get to know about their love story. So now the parents say, अभी या तो शादी कर लो या एक दूसरे को भूल जाओ, right? Either get married or forget each other. So of course they get married and now the girl becomes the wife. But now you know that after marriage, all the प्यार का भूत goes away. You know, it is the story that शादी के पहले तो तुम ऐसे नहीं थे, तुम अभी ऐसे हो गए, right? So now the wife becomes oriented. And like a typical wife, she keeps localizing her husband. Where are you? Where were you? With whom were you? Where were you? Right? So she keeps localizing her husband. So the wife becomes oriented and she keeps localizing the husband. So oriented speech, that is the maximum verbal score V5 and this is M5. So localizing is M5. Okay. So now you have the V, which is the maximum V verbal score is oriented, normal speech. There is no V6 now. Now you have only M6. So now at the score of 6, what is 6 rhyming with? 6 is rhyming with sticks. Okay, so what does the wife say? Obey my commands or I will beat you with the sticks. That is what she says to the husband. So it is obeying the command. That is what is M6. Okay, that is what is M6. So obey my commands or I will beat you with the sticks. So remember that this is the story of the GCS, which completes from 1 is none, 2 is basically rhyming with shoe, and under the tree, 3 is tree, 4 love grows more, 5 is the wife and 6 is the stick.